Jamie here, Jamie here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Tuesday, February 11th, about 9 a.m. on this fine morning. Talk quick about the market, some names to look at, go from there. S&P futures are in the red after yesterday's green session, reversing the trend from the last two Mondays. So good sign there. Some consolidation ahead of, people. You look at the headlines. First, it's Fed Chair Powell is going to be speaking in front of the Senate Banking Committee today, and then the Finance Services Committee tomorrow. And then it's like futures are lower because in anticipation of Fed Chair Powell, which it's going to be like that's a non-event. Uh, China markets, Asian markets were down overnight, so maybe that's some of it there. And then CPI data tomorrow, but to me, it's just more consolidation, some chop. Uh, I think the big data is going to be tomorrow, and then the CPI, as long as it comes in somewhat in line, even cooler than expected, would be outstanding. And I think the markets can find some footing, and the SPY starts heading towards 610. Funny thing, they say tariffs, right? So yesterday was tariff fatigue, right? And the markets were rallying on tariff fatigue, and now this morning it's new tariff worries. So just whatever headline to rationalize the moves, that's kind of what it is. But nothing's really changed in regards to tariffs. But funny, another little thing that's kind of poked its head out recently is the BDI. Anybody who's traded for long enough, the Baltic Dry Index. I don't know how long ago it was, back in 2010, maybe it's 2008, 2009. It was such a huge index. It used to be over like 7,000. Actually, I think it went up to like 15,000. So you had dry shippers, and these they transport, the majority is just coal and iron, but sometimes they are an indicator, right? The Baltic Dry Index is an indicator of supply and demand and economies, especially the global economy, because there's those. I don't know, too long to rant about for right now, but it's funny how that's kind of popping its head there. It just hit like 2-year lows. So maybe you can read into that a little bit and see, hey, maybe that's why China's struggling, because when the index is higher, typically that means there's a lot of demand to ship raw materials and things like that. But now you see the little flip there, and who knows if that's a little bit because of the tariffs. But funny, I haven't seen that in a while, and hey, maybe it starts popping its head. But take a look at the overall market. Keep talking about that 610 handle. On the flip side, the lower high, lower low scenario is still setting up. So I prefer to see a higher high soon to break that trend, and also would want to see not that the area, which I think it's 590.93. Excuse me, 590.93 is the low. So don't want to see a break through that in the coming week or two. But if we do get a hotter than expected CPI data tomorrow, I mean, certainly is going to be some pressure. It's just how far we fall. And then last but not least, yields were pretty much flat yesterday. So good thing there. All right, so now individual names. First, quick about Teladoc. I didn't think it was going to be up near $15 yesterday. It reversed morning dip. It was gapping, reversed morning dip, and then just took off, almost up to $15. I had to take some more off. The 15 strikes were up nearly over 600%. So I took more of those off, and then I went and added some later dated strikes. Now I'll be patient. I mean, it dropped over $1 from its highs yesterday. I would assume it's going to continue to be volatile. The stock was under $10 only 6 days ago, so maybe some chop here, and I'll just be patient on the rest. I'm not going to add anymore. I'll just continue to hold what I have. But what a monster that one has been. And then, like I've been saying, their earnings, which I don't know if is it February 20th. Do I have a date? I think it's later. Maybe it's the week after that, February 20th. Because the earnings, I wanted to lock my February strikes in to make sure they encompass earnings. So February option expiration will be 7th. Yeah, so it's past the 21st. So I'll have to check today. I think it's like 26th, the next week. But now those calls will encompass earnings. And if there's any some optimism and then any decent guidance, I think the stock trades over $20. So that's kind of thought process there. Finally got the Lemonade calls yesterday. I've been sitting watching last week. Their earnings are in 2 weeks, past the February 21st option expiration. Insane premiums. So for me, I've got some calls into next week. Who knows if there'll be some cautious trading by shorts, and maybe they'll start to cover a little bit. It's only going to take a little bit of pressure, and the thing's going to take off again. And when it does, it's going to be a major squeeze. Probably back over its levels that it hit. I think it was 55 or so. So don't be surprised there. And it's like the last 6 or 7 sessions on Lemonade, it's been a slow and steady melt to the upside, which typically precedes a major move. And hopefully it's to the upside. So that's Lemonade. Arista Networks was up over 1% yesterday, but disappointing considering all the other names that had rallied in that space. Still optimistic here that it heads over 125 this week. Uh, that's Arista. I was I didn't, but Asian markets were down overnight. But I was watching Baidu yesterday. I was so close to getting some of the 100 strikes. Maybe I'll get another chance here. Now it's dipping here. Just a little while ago. Uh, I don't know why it's dropped under $90. So luckily I didn't get any more calls there. Um, there's a quote. What does it say? So why am I? Oh, is Apple doing DeepSeek instead of? Anyway, so I'll continue to have this one on watch, but lucky didn't add any more strikes so far this week. I was watching 94, 95. It breaks over that. Maybe it starts to go. That's Baidu. Roku, so disappointing. It did its typical patented move. Instead of though it rallying $1 or $2, it rallied over $5 up to 91.60 in the morning, and then reversed all those gains to close barely in the red. Just disappointing. I had the strikes. They were solidly green, and I want to see 100% before I lock them in to cover costs and ride the rest. So it looks like pending any crazy monster move over the next 2.5 sessions, I'll probably be holding those calls into earnings. That's Roku, TripAdvisor, and SSYS. Nothing new to update the last yesterday. Trip closed just slightly in the green, still in the setup, possible bull flag breakout setup. SSYS back-to-back consolidation days. That possibly the longer it goes, we'll have a bull flag setup. So that's looking good. Also, still eyeing DocuSign calls. So I wouldn't say catching a falling knife, but maybe around 90 or so, and then the good thing is I haven't had any strikes, and the premiums on the later dated calls keep dropping. So we'll provide a better opportunity to get some calls. Now that said, I was thinking some other. It's funny, two names that I was looking for puts on at the end of last year. Deck on the situation with possible tariffs and that it was priced for perfection. That is taking it on the chin, and then same with Intuit, right? And that's it, despite the fact that a lot of different reasons, but funny, those are the two names, and both of those have been just to the downside. But that's that. On the speaking of downside, the other part I was looking at the market I was talking about yesterday afternoon. If you start looking at the Magnificent Seven, they almost look like they're trading in lockstep, except for Meta, right? It's pretty remarkable. You look at the Amazon, the Apple, Tesla's a little bigger in this move to the downside. Microsoft, all rough. But then on the flip side, you look at Meta, and Meta's up like 16 sessions in a row. So pretty remarkable stuff. But I say remarkable in regards to the market, because if you paint that picture of all these names reversing and not performing well since their earnings report, you would say, wow, the market would probably be down in lockstep with them, and it hasn't been the case. So anyway, that's it, folks. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on audio later. Rock and roll.